Aprilia 2004 Aprilia RSV 1000R. There's a few things I gotta do to it, but I recently just switched out the tires. So when I got it, the guy had some track takeoffs on it, and they were Pirelli Diablos. And I just switched them out to the Batlax, Bridgestone Batlax RS10s. So, and now for just a view on this bike, what you'll need if you're a little guy like me, right, you'll need tank grips, right? And getting tank grips for these things are pretty hard, so I'm going to custom cut them. I ordered a set of universal ones off Tech-Spec, like so. Here we go, tank grips, universals. So I'll just have to cut them into place, and yeah. So what I've done here is essentially what I do is I use tin foil. So what I did was I just took a giant piece of tin foil and just kind of put it into place like so, and then just kind of fold it around the edges and fold it and crunch it where I want it to go. So I wanted to go a little bit further up here, so following this bottom line and then following the crease of the tank, and then around into this little knee well and up over and push into this edge here. I'm pretty small, so I don't really reach all the way into the edge here, so I cut it a little bit shorter because the tank is pretty darn big, and I'm not sure if the strips are actually long enough to actually get the whole thing done like so. As you can see, we might end up being a little short here, so that's why it works out okay, because I can't reach my knee all the way in here anyway. As long as it gets into this little crevice here, I'm okay. So what I did after that, after the tin foil, is I just placed it on a piece of cardboard like so, and I just took a marker and I gave it a rough trace around, leave a little bit edge, leave some edges first, and then I'm just going to take my pair of scissors and cut it around quite loosely, and then I'll measure it out. I'll try to see if I can fit this guy, soften this up and fit it onto here to see how it looks, and then go and do some trimming on the actual rubber tank grips. So here we go. Okay, so here I have the cardboard template that I cut. Super rough, because you can always remove material and we can't really add it back, right? So as you see, we're just going to place it up here and give it a little bit of pressure. I softened it up a little bit, so just push on it a little bit to see like if it's kind of fits in the right area, and then we can always trim the actual rubber pad to make it so it looks like a pretty good. And I'm just gonna look on the black line that I have, and it looks like we're pretty good. So now I can commence to trimming it down to the line, and it should fit on the other side. So after I trim it down, I'll check it on the other side and it should work out. So here we go. Okay, so here I have the cardboard template that I cut. Super rough, because you can always remove material and we can't really add it back, right? So as you see, we're just going to place it up here and give it a little bit of pressure. I softened it up a little bit, so just push on it a little bit to see like if it's kind of fits in the right area, and then we can always trim the actual rubber pad to make it so it looks like a pretty good. And I'm just gonna look on the black line that I have, and it looks like we're pretty good. So now I can commence to trimming it down to the line, and it should fit on the other side. So after I trim it down, I'll check it on the other side and it should work out. So here we go. Okay, so here we are on the other side of the bike, and if it's mirrored correctly, this guy should fit like so on here. So let's bend it a little bit. Here, let's put you guys down, and let me bend it a little bit and see if it fits. Okay, so I've bent it, and we could place it on here, and lo and behold, it fits. Yeah, that's pretty good. Might have to do a little bit of trimming on the main sheet, but that looks pretty good. And now, once we got that, we're gonna, moment of truth is that we're gonna see if we actually have this guy. All right, if we have enough rubber. I have a feeling this might be a little bit longer than this piece of rubber. So we place it here. Try to maximize the rubber down here and maximize the length we have. And it looks like we're gonna be a little shy. So you can see here, it's just a little shy, so you might have to do some modifications. And to see if we want to have, just to see how much of it we have to cut off. So right here, you can see that it would have to come off here. So we will take a look-see, and if we can make the curvature change. For sure we need this top part because the knee needs to get stuck right in here, but we could take away a little bit of this section, so we can always curve it so that it makes it work a little nicer. So we're just gonna grab the Sharpie. Okay, so what I did here was I just placed it up here and decided on where I felt would be acceptable to chop, but still keeping the aesthetics of the pad. And then now we're gonna chop it and see how it looks. Okay, so I kind of chopped a little bit more off because before, when we just had this here and I snipped it off, it looked a little bit bulbousy and didn't really flow with the bike, the lines of the bike. So here what I did was I just took a little bit more off the bottom here, so it just flows with this bottom line here a little bit more. And this looks like it's a lot nicer. I think that'd be pretty cool if I had if I put the tank pad there. Yeah, so decided I like it like that. So now I'm gonna come back down here and we'll close the Sharpie and see if we have enough pads for that. Oh, nice. So we don't even have to adjust it. We don't even have to tilt it. So now if we flatten it here, try to maximize the amount of rubber we have from the top to the bottom. You don't lose anything on the bottom either. And that looks like it's good to go. So yeah, let's try cut those out and see how it goes. So okay, let's do an unpackaging. So I unpacked this thing, and lo and behold, the first thing that you do get out of it is these templates. Right, so we're just gonna take a look, see if any of these templates come close to matching the shape that we're after, which is over here. Okay, so we're gonna take a look, see which one matches, if at all, if we even have one. So let's see. No, that one obviously isn't right. And then let's see, those ones, these don't look right. Okay, so there's one that looks kind of similar, which is like this one, but you can see that it's absolutely midget sized. That's not gonna work because we want something that's huge. And then there's this one here, which kind of resembles this one a little bit. So it's this one and this one. So we could take a look-see if it fits, but I don't think so, because the one that we just cut out was pretty much custom cut to exactly what I wanted to do. So if I take a look here, you can see that it kind of works, but it doesn't really go with the aesthetics of the bike, because it doesn't really, it's kind of just gets cut straight here, and there's no curve here for you to like get right up into the curvature here, and it's so small. I think one of the issues is that this bike is so big, the tank is so big, that here, just look at all of these anyway. That's obviously not, that obviously doesn't work. That, yeah, no, those don't work. I think they're just for, I think you can use these for smaller bikes, but that doesn't work for my purposes, for our purposes. So we are going to stick with what we made, and this guy, and we're going to cut it out on here. So let's try that. Okay, so I've drawn the template on one of them, and I guess we're gonna get a sharp knife and carve it out and see how it fits. Okay, so we got the first side. Here it is. And after a little bit of trimming and a little bit of testing, then you got a placement on there, and that seems to fit pretty good. Right along here, along the edges here. Sure, when you start pushing that in really deep, it'll be okay. So I'm gonna mount it and see how it goes. Wish me luck. Okay, there it is. One side mounted. I think it turned out pretty good. Right up against the crotch, right up against my thigh where I need it, and right up against the top radial here, and right up on the inside of the wheel well. It's nice and tight. Right, and also right up along the gold edge here. Doesn't cover much of it, so straight along here. Just follows the lines of the motorcycle, and my knee comes out to about here. To the other side. So here's a really quick note to make sure that you don't mess it up, because they are mirror images of each other. So you got to make sure you either use the template one way, or you have to use the template so the other way, because on this side it'll look like this, but on the other side we'll be looking at it from this way, like so. So we got to make sure that when we trace this one, we're not just randomly putting it on it and tracing, because for the first one we can just do that because then it'll be right or left. But this time we got to make sure that we don't trace it like this on top, because then it'll be wrong, right? It'll be the wrong way. So we got to make sure that we flip it like so, and that we make sure that it's actually going in the correct manner, like so, like that. And you want the adhesive to be on this side, so that means that it will be like so. And then we're going to take this guy and place it to the back, so that we know that we have the right orientation. Otherwise we would have just cut two sheets of exactly the same thing, and we would have essentially wasted a sheet of rubber, which we can't afford to. So here we go. So here we are. Both sides of the tank grips done. So here, let's get a little bit of a light on here. So take a look, see. Can be a little bit gnawed around the edges here a little bit, but that's just to trim off the edges. And coming across. There we got the other side. It's a pretty good job. Then, yeah, so I'm a little bit far away. That's what it looks like. I think it looks pretty good, pretty stealth. I like it.